It is 4:31. We will call this meeting to order. The Moorhead Public Service Commission welcomes and encourages customer input on issues listed on the agenda or of general water, electric, utility interest, time and commission permitting. Speakers are limited to 3-minute presentations. Customers wishing to address the commission regarding a specific agenda item will be afforded an opportunity during the discussion of that item. Customers wishing to speak on matters not listed on the agenda will be given the opportunity to do so under the heading Customers to be Heard Recognitions. Each person requesting the opportunity to speak is asked to fill out a request to speak form located in the back of the room and present it to the administrative assistant in attendance at the meeting. Any follow-up or feedback will be done by email on anything that cannot be resolved this evening. Reminder, commissioners, please make sure that your microphone is turned on and the red light display when you are speaking. And if there are, if Steve Lindos does join us by technology today, we'll ask him to have his camera on the entire time, and we will do roll call votes. All right, we will move into the approval of the agenda. Is there a motion to approve the agenda as printed?
So moved.
So moved, Baker.
Second.
Second, Ness. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
You know, we'll be done. I think kudos to everybody on the Moorhead Public Service staff that, you know, for years has been thinking about investing for the future and making sure that we've got these things ready. The one session that I went to, which was interesting, which we'll turn it back over to Travis to figure it out. But they said there needs to be more communication back to the public because water is one of those things everybody just expects to have, but doesn't really understand the investment that it takes, and to really be able to share with them on this is a project that's in, you know, fixing lead line replacements, or this is water main replacement. And they talked about not only things that went out to the customer through mailings, but even, I think we've seen it more, the Biden area projects where if it got federal approval, the sign was up. Even for Moorhead Public Service, do we actually mark it and say, reinvesting in water main replacements for safer drinking water? I mean, things just to make sure that the community knows that we're investing back into the system, and maybe it's a tie back to, this is why it's a 5% increase, a rate increase this year, is because there's a lot of infrastructure that needs to be done. But I thought it was a great seminar overall. There was a lot of stuff that they wanted to sell us, Travis, and you didn't give Jake or I a credit card, so we didn't buy anything. There was a lot of cool stuff there, but the seminars really were fantastic. If anybody has the ability to go to this in the coming years, really great presentations to really learn more about water and how as commissioners we can support that part of our business. So I don't know if this would be a time if Jake wanted to pop in and talk about his experience there, since you were a first timer. Did you fill out your form? No. Oh.
Yeah, as Commissioner Lyseth mentioned, that was also my first time at the AWWA National Conference, and it's been to other conferences around, you know, the Minnesota chapter and the Minnesota Rural Water Conference, but this one really gave you a bigger picture of, you know, how big the water industry actually is, because you got representatives from every single state, but what was also neat about this when I was there was, I want to say they said 30 different countries attended as well. So the vendor show had, you know, of course, lots of different technologies and parts and materials, but you also saw folks from all around the world there as well. And just very eye-opening just how big it is. But that was just one piece of it. The really cool part too is just how connected the water community is when they're giving their seminars. And I mean, if you wanted to learn anything about water, you could find it there, because there was, at least at any given moment during the seminars, probably, I don't know, 20 or 30 going on at one time. So very great experience, and got a lot of knowledge out of it. So
Thank you, Jake. We will step back to 8A. Councilperson Borgen, a city council update.
All right, thank you. So we've had a couple of meetings since we last met here. We are starting the budget process. That's basically the biggest thing that we're working on right now is June, July, August, September. We do little workshops to talk about different areas of opportunity, what our long-range plan is, some of our capital improvement projects, et cetera. So basically, that's the report from the city. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilperson Borgen. General Manager's Report. Travis.
Yes, we got a couple items on the agenda tonight. I'll have Mark Pritchard come up, or on the General Manager's Report. I'll have Mark come up and talk about the water treatment, ozone generator and equipment replacement project that we completed. And I think there's a potential tour afterwards if you're interested, just to take a look at everything in the water plant. So with that, I'll let Mark go through that, and then I'll finish up.
Thank you, Travis. Mark Pritchard, Water Plant Manager. As Travis had mentioned, we are in the final stages of our ozone generator replacement project. It's something that we have been working on since about October 2023, so it's a big milestone here that actually took place last Saturday, the 18th. A little bit of context, we have been running ozone as our primary disinfectant since 1994, so we got 32 and a half years of constant service out of these pieces of equipment. For some context, industry average is 15 to 20. So it really goes to show the quality of the maintenance and the quality of the expertise of the staff that keep these pieces of equipment running for us day in and day out, keeping that reliability where it needs to be at all times. During the construction phase, we actually took physical delivery of the generator starting at about the December timeframe. Construction and replacement in earnest and demolition of the old units for installation of the new ones took place in earnest from January until about early June 2026 here. So we've had about 6 months of construction within that ozone room. And we were able to get the first unit started up at the first week of April, and the contractor learned a few things through that process, getting the first unit completed, and actually got the second one done in about 3 weeks, as far as time-wise, if that makes sense. So we really caught some efficiencies through that second generator installation and startup procedure, and we actually had the 30-day test period for clearing it for service completed on the 18th of June. So that's 18th of July. So that's a very good milestone for us to have. As Travis had mentioned, we do have a tour available to go see the new pieces of equipment. It's about $2.5 million worth of stuff. So it's going to be hopefully a key piece of our strategy for another 32 years. So thank you.
Thank you, Mark.
All right, and then so the next item on there is the Western Area Power Administration preliminary drought adder notification. We get these notifications twice a year. You typically late June, early July is when the first one comes out, and then we'll get another one in about mid to late October timeframe. As you can see, it's attached. With that, they are looking at no change to the drought adder portion of it. So plan to stay zero. They did adjust it down at the beginning of 2026, just as part of their process. Typically with the drought adder, they have to incur debt to adjust the drought adder up or down, and as they pay it off, they bring it down. So we don't know what the future looks like based on current levels within the reservoirs on the Missouri River and their generation that they have out there. So Could adjust up in 2027, could be 2028, you know, that's just something we have to, we'll continue to get notified on as things go along as well too. So, other than that, we did have staff in both June and July, June 24th and July 15th, participate in the Safe Cities Night. We had electric crew in June, and we had the water crew in July. And then also, as part of the American Public Power Day of Giving, which was on June, I think 26th, if I remember right, we did clean up Viking Ship Park, or had some staff out there doing some cleanup there. Along with that, we did also on the 29th had some staff volunteer for the Place of Hope Recovery and Wellness Center. They were working on repackaging donated food and into smaller portions for them to come do their pickup and stuff like that. So along with that, as part of the Public Power Day of Giving, that's part of the national conference that goes on, and I did attend that out in Boston the week after Matt and Jake were in Washington, D.C. Again, great conference to go to. I recommend going to it. They had really good general sessions, and then they had their breakout sessions as well too. And again, a lot of the conversations were around large load. You know, again, kind of like what Jake said, there's a lot of different things that you can find and look at there, or different things you can look into as well too. You know, they were talking about battery storage, solar plus battery storage. You know, all those things are being discussed, and it's definitely interesting where we're at compared to out on the East Coast, and the cost of electricity out there compared to here. So, you know, the cost of installing a battery storage system out there is nothing compared to the cost of the land out there, where here it's a bigger cost for us. So, yeah, very good sessions there as well too, and it was kind of cool to be out there during the close to the 250th anniversary of the nation. So, with that concludes my report.
All right, thank you, Travis. Next up, item 8D, the accept the report on MPS's advanced metering infrastructure project.
Sure, I'll kick this off, and then Jake's gonna take over for me. We've actually hit a very big milestone. We actually completed, was it last week, Jake? 2 weeks ago, all the AMI electric meters for the contractor have been swapped out. We still have some outliers, not too many though. We're roughly about 20 to 30. Some of them require work on our end to do some adjustments, a couple of non-responders and a couple of refusers as well too. So one thing that's Jake's going to talk about is just kind of how things are going. He'll also update you on the water side, and then I'll finish up. Go ahead, Jake.
Thank you, Travis. Yeah, the last update was in April, and at that point, we were about 80% complete with the electric exchanges and 35% complete with the water. Currently, as Travis mentioned, the electric installation contractor is complete with their portion of the project, and the remaining electric counts are the return to utility counts, which are non-responders, refusals, operational issues. So, and then the water installation contractor, we're at 55% complete now. And just since basically June and July, we've really increased the amount of exchanges for the water. They got a couple more staff trained, and so we're hitting more meter replacements per day. So we're on track. Hopefully, at this point, as long as everything stays on track, hoping early 2027 will be wrapped up with kind of the water installations contractors portion. We're going to have lots of non-responders, refusals on the water side as well. Over the past couple months, MPS and our consultant Contema, we've been still working through some of the system acceptance tests with whether it's the meter data management system or our load control program. Just within the last couple of weeks, we've started utilizing the load control, the new load control program. Found a few bugs that we fixed, but we are resuming installing those devices as well. So that's also a pretty big update since the last time. Staff, we've completed a few more trainings on the AMI head-end system along with the meter data management system. And throughout that process, we continue to discuss more. That's one thing that one of the seminars I went to at the AWWA conference was talking about, okay, you put your AMI system in and it's very hectic right away because you're worried about installing and deployment and things like that. Then there becomes a phase where you actually can slow down and start utilizing the data. And I think that's kind of where we're at right now as staff. We're kind of looking at all this data we've never had before, and now we're able to use it. So we're finding different tools, different reports that are generated. So that's been a nice thing to see as well. I don't know if last time we updated, but staff currently generates a weekly continuous usage water report that gets sent out to customers. It's a little bit more of a manual process right now, but as we update our CIS customer information system, we'll be able to do more automated notifications as well. As Travis mentioned earlier, the accounts that we have as return to utility accounts. There's two main groups, the refusal accounts who have refused the AMI meter for certain reasons, and the non-responder accounts that have just not responded to us, whether it's been, and we've sent them letters, door hangers multiple times, and phone calls. And currently there's about a dozen for each group, I would say. We've established policies for both those refusals and non-responding accounts, and beginning in August, the accounts who have refused the new AMI electric meter will be charged a $50 per non-conforming meter charge. As I mentioned, we'll be sending those customers letters so they're notified in advance. And then our other group, customer accounts who have not responded to us, a final notice letter will be sent out to them as well. And then if they haven't scheduled an appointment within a certain amount of time, their electric service to be suspended. So that's where we're at with that portion of it. Also included in the agenda item is just our communication we've had throughout the whole entire project. As we're done with the electric, but we're still halfway with the water, so we still get lots of calls on, not lots, but some calls on the water meter replacement, so that's there for you as well. Let's see here. Yeah, currently the water installation contract, we're in South Moorhead right now on some of our bigger cycles. It's basically south of the interstate. Right now they're on more so the east side of 8th Street, and throughout the summer we'll be transitioning more to the east side of 8th Street. So with that, I think that's all I have.
So what are the most common reasons for the refusals?
Well, we've had a variety. The main one is health concerns regarding radio frequency RF, which is, our system's been researched and things like that through the federal commissions or the US FCC. It meets all those guidelines. It's similar RF technology as wireless devices and other common household products, cell phones, baby monitors, all those things, and it puts out a very low input. But that's one main concern. We've had different religious, different items as well. So
On the non-response, do you think it is actually that there's nobody there, or what do you think? I mean, do you know, are these like vacant properties or what?
Well, a combination of, we've looked at the vacant ones. Like I said, we've put door hangers so you can have a pretty good idea of what it is, but it's just, the majority of them are, looks like there's somebody there, there's active usage, they're just not, they haven't.
They don't read their mail.
Yeah. They haven't responded, whether it's a timing issue on scheduling or they think it's an access issue, but we'll work with them to, get there, be able to get to the meter, and so.
Another, even phone calls, they're not answering phone calls. Suspension of service comes into play. The plan, and we've discussed this internally, how we're gonna handle it, is that once we get to that suspension of service date, we'll suspend their service, but if they call in, we will come out as long as we can swap out the meter, whether it's electric or water or both, we will do it that evening. So we will call a crew in to take care of it right away. But it's just to get them, on board, get them to understand that we're serious about this and want to get it taken care of. Because at the end of the day, if we don't have the AMI meter in place, we have to send a staff person out to read that meter on a monthly basis. So that the customers that are getting the refusal letter, it's a $50 per meter per month. So if you've got 2 electric meters, that's $100. If you got 2 electric meters and a water meter, that's $150. So we're serious about getting to that point because we don't want to have staff driving around just to get those meter readings on a monthly basis.
One hundred percent complete with the electrical, correct?
Besides the return to
Okay,
utility
and then,
accounts.
so the water was about what percentage?
We're at about 55% right now.
55, okay.
Yeah.
Of how many number-wise would you say referrals you have? I'm just curious to see like what that number
The
looks like.
refusals for the water, or just for the water?
Yeah, well, so there's,
About-
so there's refusals for electrical, and then there's also refusals on the water side as well.
Yeah.
Like, how many would you say in
Um,
total?
I would say for the water, we're a little bit, probably a dozen, I would say.
Okay.
For different reasons as well. But the non-responders is much greater. It's like 600 or 700 right now with just through, 55%. So, which is which we were expecting that. That's because we have to get into each home to replace the water meter. For the electric, it's most of them are on the outside of the house. So they didn't take any time from that customer because if they have a lever bypass or whatever, they didn't even know we were there because we go there, swap it out, and we're out in 5 minutes. For the water, they have to take time out of their day, schedule, be there, access issue into the houses, so,
Thank you.
yep.
Just one more. The staff has been fantastic on this. They've done a really excellent job of making sure that, they're making the phone calls, they're making the touches just to try to get as many people to get that meter swapped out. And we're definitely able to work with customers as well if they've got, they're gone on vacation or they won't be back for a couple weeks or something like that. Staff is working with them. We understand that that's life. And as long as they're willing to give us a call when they're back, we're able to help them out with that. So, but the amount or the number of, the 2 dozen that we've got is an impressive number compared to 22,000 electric meters out there. So I just want to say kudos to staff for all the hard work of putting this thing together and getting it almost across the finish line.
I would just like to say,
It's good to hear.
I had mine replaced last month, and same thing. Very friendly person. I think he was done in less than a half an hour. It does not take much time. It would have taken longer if I didn't clean out around it, because that took me longer than his half an hour to do the work.
Well, and I think that is a concern of people. They don't know where it is, or they don't know if they can get things out of the way, so they put it off, and, so.
Thank you, Jake. Appreciate that. Next up is 8E, accept the report on Northeast Generating Station financial analysis. Oh, sorry, move back. Is there a motion to accept? So move Borgen.
Second.
Second Ness. All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Thank you. Now on to 8E, accepting the report for the Northeast Generating Station financial analysis.
Yeah, I'll start this off and then I'll let Taylor take over. Mark and Allison have also been involved with this as we kind of reviewed it once we got the information back from DGR. Again, we put our initial or our first generating station outside the old power plant in 2011 was operational, and we've had that for about 15 years. It's been of good value or great value to Moorhead. It helped out during Winter Storm Uri. We ran that for about 88 hours straight. They don't get a lot of use, but they provide that emergency backup. And so as part of the construction of the Northeast substation, we purchased enough land so that a possibility of a generating station could be put up there, along with potentially some other future electrical stuff like a battery storage or something along those lines. And DGR was approved for a financial analysis to do it for us, and so we're bringing that to you tonight to consider or at least see what it looks like, so then we can then start the process of going out for bids for generators and planning for the construction of the generating station. With that, Taylor, I'll let you go.
That's still not it? Thank you. The initial stages of designing and procuring materials to construct a generating station next to the future relocated Northeast substation. The activities consist of planning, designing, a financial analysis of the project, procuring long lead time equipment, and obtaining air quality permits from the Minnesota Pollution Control Agency. This report today contains the data that was compiled for the financial analysis. The total estimated cost of the project is $25,591,400, and it's included in MPS's 2026 budget. The analysis was performed using 20-year bonds with an interest rate ranging from 3.75% to 4.25%, because we don't know what exactly we're going to get when we try to sell them. And the report's split up in 3 different tables using 0.25% increments. The majority of the income and payback from this investment comes from monthly payments from Missouri River Energy Services for what we call reserved capacity of these generators. Reserved capacity is the potential for the generators to be turned on to generate power when called upon. So the purpose of these generators are not to be ran consistently nor even frequently, but to be in condition to operate during times when the grid is stressed and reaching an overloaded state. The costs of reserved capacity are for the resiliency of the electric grid. The rate of income for reserve capacity comes from the reserve capacity agreement between MPS and MRES. The current rate is $5.47 per kilowatt on a monthly basis. The generating station is designed to be 11.3 megawatts, meaning the total expected monthly income for this plant would be about $61,811, or annually $741,732. The financial analysis being presented in the report uses an estimated increase to that reserve capacity rate of only 1% on an annual basis. It should be noted that over the past few years, the annual increase to that rate has actually been about 2.24% to as high as 3.6%. So it should be understood that there's a high likelihood that the return on investment will be better than the conservative estimates being presented today. In addition to the reserve capacity income, MRES is also committed to paying a lump sum of an extra $4 per kilowatt per month, calculated over a 10-year time frame. To put that into dollars and cents, this means we should be expected for an upfront payment of about $5,424,000. This amount is considered in those financial projections, and I expect it would be utilized to lower that initial bonding amount. The actual payment of that comes, from my understanding, after the facility is built and tested out. So we would have to dip into reserves for that initial amount, and I expect we'd be able to replenish the reserves once that payment comes in. That being said, MPS should recover at least 74 to 77% of its initial investment over a 30-year period, according to this analysis. This means that MPS could construct a generating facility that would provide local and regional grid resiliency, plus a source of emergency generation to important locations in Moorhead for the cost of about 25 cents on the dollar. Some of these important facilities in Moorhead include but are not limited to City Hall, the Public Works Facility, the wastewater treatment plant, the Minnesota National Guard Armory, and Robert Asp Elementary School if it's needed as a shelter. This cost recovery could be greater should the interest rate of the bonds come in lower than projected, and if the capacity payments from MRES grow at a rate that's greater than 1% annually. The information in this report is to aid the commission with the decision that they'll need to make regarding the construction of this proposed generating facility. Do the commissioners have any questions about this information at this time?
Are there any questions?
I just have a clarification. So this is kind of similar to the thing we already have that we only have used maybe twice, right?
Yes.
Right. So it's really a backup to the backup that we already have. Well, it's additional backup, correct?
Correct.
I mean, I get it.
Yeah, what it does is, right now, we've got about 10 megawatts of capacity that we have with MRES. This would give us roughly another 10 to 11 megawatts to use this integrated resource plan.
Travis, the encoder died, we're rebooting it, so just pause for like 3.
Mark, come on up. Come on up.
They're not listening anyway.
Yeah,
We lost
no, it's working now.
Okay.
Yeah, so all those facilities will be able to be done. Along with that, MRES has that reserve capacity. They get to use that as part of their integrated resource plan, which allows them to include that extra capacity as they're building out infrastructure and things like that. That kind of helps offset the next generation facility, even though they're really looking hard at that next generation facility. But again, they take 5 to 10 years to construct, depending on what type of facility it is. So, and even potentially longer. Overall, it's a good opportunity. Just because of the reimbursement we get from MRES. We went through the same process back in 2008, 2009, 2010 as we were going through the approval process. Mark, again, I'm not sure if it did or not, but I thought the payments we received actually was greater than what we had anticipated because they increased that reserve capacity payment over the years. So, like Taylor said, we could potentially receive more and might pay itself off sooner, but we're trying to be conservative with the analysis that was provided so that we're comfortable with it. Based on Mark and Allison and Taylor and I sitting down last week and kind of working through this, right now we're not seeing any additional rate increases for it from what we're seeing currently. So it's already included in the budget in full form. So again, kudos to Mark and Allison for looking at it from a financial perspective of how does that impact the customers from a rate perspective. And right now it shouldn't have any impact. So overall, I think it's a good opportunity. Again, this is giving you that information so you have the abilities to make that educated decision when, I'm assuming next month or the month after, we'll be coming back, starting to go out for bid for generators, because I know those are 3 to 4 years out, and then construction thereafter and switchgear and whatever else has to be included in it. So the substation design was incorporated to build this if and when we were ready for it, so we don't have to worry about any changes there as well.
I have one question. You've done a good job of explaining the finances of it. What is the threat if you don't do it? Like, what happens if we don't do it?
I would say are we at risk of having an outage or a blackout? It's that part's not gonna change, but if it does happen, we would have that emergency capability of bringing on, did a calculation and included in the agenda item, it roughly covers 13.5% of our current peak load. That's a considerable amount of town, and you would expect that not to be as high if it's a tornado event or something. But something like this could also be what prevents the straw from breaking the camel's back. By having this in the area, other parts of the region might end up dumping into a brownout, but this could be what keeps Moorhead and the surrounding areas going. Is that likely to happen? It's really tough to say. It's so dependent on a lot of variables. And I don't have enough experience at the regional transmission level, nor the data to really give much more information than that.
Thank you. I think that helped. The resiliency that it brings is really what brings the decision for me. So thank you.
Kind of like an insurance policy. You invest in insurance hoping you don't ever have to use it, but if you do, you're happy you have it.
But how many insurance policies can you actually make money on?
Right, exactly, and they get paid.
The potential is
Yeah.
there. It's not a guaranteed, but one thing to note is that this is only a 30-year projection using 20-year bonds. If those engines continue to provide reserve capacity beyond that period, that return continues, and it actually gets quite quick at that point if the payments keep growing, and we no longer have debt assigned to it and interest payments. And along with that, the generator manufacturers will actually warranty their generators out to 25 years, which is a much smaller gap to hope your generators keep going along with no use. But we do have them maintained twice a year. The ones we have generally run like a champ. If we ever have any issues, it's not the generator's problem. It's something to do with the control systems.
I have one more question. Say we build this thing. We're gonna build this thing. Sounds like we're good with it. If we have a big customer that comes to the north side of Moorhead, is this in any way help us start that customer up before we would have to actually get more power? Or, I mean, is there another positive benefit that we could be getting from this too? Hopefully we get another big customer.
Yeah. Good question. Again, part of that substation design is to make sure we have additional feeders on the north side as well too. It's very expensive to run these, and usually when we have to turn them on, it's because you're talking very expensive power from the grid, just because you're running these on diesel generator. They're diesel generators. So
So they're just backup.
I would say they're more backup. I don't think you would want to run them for a customer. Again, it all depends on how big that customer is. Again, we're upsizing the transformers as well too at Northeast, so that will give us a little additional capacity. Again, that doesn't help us with the transmission side of things. This is all part of a long-term capacity improvement project, because we are putting capacitor banks into the substation as well, and Southeast substation. But after those projects are all done, then we're gonna probably have to focus on some of the transmission and upgrading that. Now, part of that is that, SPP has what they call an annual transmission revenue recapture. And so we receive funds for having that transmission available. They also provide notices to construct if they want us to upgrade them. So sometimes it's better to wait because it doesn't cost us anything to upsize those lines, and we'll get reimbursement for it, or we'll get more reimbursement for it with a notice to construct than we would if we just upgraded them ourselves. So it's kind of a chicken and the egg situation with the transmission. So we're watching that, but from a large customer perspective, I think if you're talking 5-10 megawatts, yeah, it might be fine. But if it's anything larger than that, it's not. It wouldn't be useful at that point in time.
Thank you, everyone. Is there a motion to accept the report?
So moved.
Motion Ness, second? Second Baker. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, same sign. Report accepted. Thank you very much. We will move on to item number 10, which is approve the amended S1 power sale agreement with MRES.
I'll take this one. So about every 10 years, we go through the process of doing an amendment or an extension on the S1 agreement. The S1 agreement stands for Supplemental 1. Again, MRES is our supplemental power supplier, so that's the vernacular that they're using. Again, WAPA is our first power supplier, and so MRES provides everything above and beyond what we're capped at from back in the 70s with WAPA. The initial agreement, S1 agreement, was signed back in 1976. I wasn't alive, just so you all know. And this will be, if the commission and council approves this will be the 6th amendment we have. So we do it every 10 years. The reason for doing it every 10 years is Iowa state law only allows municipalities to enter into 40-year contracts. That's the maximum they can. So once this is approved and signed off on, basically it allows us to extend it. Now that helps in a couple of different fashions. Again, a lot of the times, Western Minnesota Municipal Power Agency, who's the finance arm or agency that finances all of the MRES projects, they own all the assets. They own the MRES building down in Sioux Falls. You know, they are the ones that go out for bonding. Now that happened because Minnesota back in the 70s was the first entity that would allow joint action agencies to actually go out for bonds. And allow them to do that. So Western Minnesota was formed because they had that opportunity, and this was about the time when they started building the Laramie River Station out in Sheridan, Wyoming. Again, it helps with a strong credit position. Again, it helps preserve low-cost tax-exempt financing and enables MRES to continue to work and either construct or get purchase power agreements or some type of membership agreement within a generation facility as well too. Along with that, also their transmission projects that they're going to be doing as well too. I think they're well over $400 million in transmission projects that they're looking at in the next 5 to 6 years as well too. So there's a lot going on, and so this helps with that. Because they've got a 40-year commitment from the membership, including Moorhead, to do that, and that will allow them to obtain those. Typically, they do 30-year bonds. They don't do 20-year bonds, but it really depends on what the market's looking like. So with that, again, this overall, the amendments that were provided for this agreement were very minor. There wasn't a whole lot of change to it. I think Mr. Bulger and myself sat through several of the WebExes. I think some staff were in those as well too. And they also presented this at the annual meeting in May as well. I think Matt heard that as well too. Paul did. So again, overall, minor changes, nothing big. It's just extending it an additional 10 years. Attorney Bulger has reviewed this, has no concerns with it as well. Along with that, Attorney Shockley has reviewed it. If the commission does approve this tonight, we will be taking it to the council next week for approval as well to move forward with it. I think the biggest thing, Matt and I talked about this, and if we wanted to bring MRES staff in to educate it, it's such a small, there's such minor changes to it, it's not really worth it, so we're gonna just kind of move forward with it. Again, I think it would be a different discussion if we were seeing major rate increases from MRES, and their current forecast is 4 to 5% rate increases for the next 4 to 5 years. So overall, I'd say we're doing pretty good based on some of our neighbors around us and what the rate increases are that they have. Again, it does help to have two power suppliers, WAPA and MRES, and I think this is a good value of moving forward with it. So with that, I guess my recommendation and John's recommendation is for the commission to approve it.
Are there any questions? And from Travis and my conversation earlier, it really seems like this just continues the status quo. We've got a good relationship with MRES. They take good care of us. They're responsive, and we want to keep it going.
Yeah, I'd concur with that. I think MRES and WAPA are probably two of the most valuable relationships we have outside of Moorhead.
Is there a motion to approve the S1 power sale agreement with Missouri River Energy Services? So moved Baker, thank you.
Second.
Second Ness. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. The motion carried. Thank you very much. We will move on to agenda number 11, which is the approving the sponsorship request for Moorhead Parks and Recreation for upcoming special events. Travis.
Let's see here. Give me 1 second. We did receive a couple of sponsorship requests from Moorhead Parks and Recreation for some of their upcoming events or special events that they've got over the next few months. And those are provided in front of you. Again, we've done multiple Parks and Recreation events in the past. Again, based on budgets, we're within our budget still of 50,000, just under 29,000. So Greater Moorhead Days Parade is a $25,000 sponsorship. Pumpkin Party Pickup, which is what did I say? 25,000. Sorry, big. We've been talking big numbers today, so you're lucky I didn't say million.
You're gonna blow the budget.
I will. So Greater Moorhead Days, again, that's the parade. That's $2,500. The Pumpkin Party Pickup is $1,000, and then the holiday kickoff tree lighting is $1,000. So in total, that's about $4,500. Just requesting the commission to approve it as per the sponsorship policy that we've got in place.
Motion by Borgen, is there a second? Second Baker. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Thank you. Motion carries. There is not a need for executive session today, so our upcoming meetings for August are August 4th if needed, August 25th for the regularly scheduled. A couple of meeting opportunities for everyone. MMMBUA Summer Conferences in St. Cloud in August. The Minnesota AWWA Annual Conferences in Duluth. And then the MRES Municipal Power Learning Academy in September. If anyone hasn't been to that, that's really good. Commissioner Borgen and I went last year. Has it been a year? Yeah. Which is a really good introduction to MRES and really understanding how they support more public service throughout the year. So just if you can get that in your calendars, great. With that, we will adjourn.
I will be sending out the Municipal Power Learning Academy information. I just received it last week, so I'll get that out to you so you have it.